Hello friends, this is Youheum, and today I'll be sharing how I stay true to my authentic self even through resistance, even through judgmental people, criticism, and verbal bullying. For those of you who just joined me, I'm an extreme minimalist living in a furniture-free home. I also practice sustainability, veganism, spirituality, and mindfulness through the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh. It may seem to some that my lifestyle, my career path, financial approach, diet, and my belief system are very different from the norm. And I completely understand how this can make some people curious and intrigued, but at the same time uncomfortable. And my practice can be perceived as a challenge or even as a threat against the majority. Also, be sure to share with me how your journey has been for being unique and creative. Do you have supportive people, or are you dealing with unsupportive people in your life? What are some common assumptions that you get? Let us know in the comments below. As a creative individual walking a unique path, we can easily become the target of criticism and judgment and challenges. But on the flip side of the coin, we can also become the attacker because we want to defend our position, our mindset, our belief systems, and it might just be because we want to project our passive aggression or anger onto someone for not being accepted and loved completely. So this means that just because we are the opposite of the norm, we're not always the victim of criticism. So we can also be the person who criticizes other people for having a different lifestyle. And we can easily fall into the trap of being the attacker who attacks the majority. I believe that the choices that we make in life and the practices we commit to, no matter what it is, are all results of our own experience and history. And this ultimately contributes to the decisions that we make, including what we eat, how we dress, how we consume, and what we read and decide to learn. So most of us have the understanding that our culture, custom, rituals, our habits, and beliefs all shape us as a whole, which means that when we deny a part of someone, we are denying their entire background and beingness. And most importantly, we are denying the universal need for freedom, the need for uniqueness and variety, which I think is the most precious gift that we can hold in this present moment. I also believe that when we refuse to show flexibility and gentleness, we're forgetting about compassion. When we assume something about someone and when we judge and criticize someone for the lifestyle choices that they make, we are not able to offer understanding for their mental health, their physical health, their educational background, and the kind of path that they have taken in their life. That's why I find it important to continue to spread the message of compassion, loving kindness, and acceptance, even to those on the opposite path of my lifestyle, to those who are non-vegans, to those who are not practicing minimalism like maximalists, and even to those who are unsustainable and unethical, because I know that there's a part of me who is also like them, and I was like that in my past as well. So I can offer understanding to these people because I feel that we are not so different in the big picture. And by cultivating this mindset, we can remain neutral even when there's conflict, because the purpose of contrast is not to promote violence against each other, but to grow together and to add to the transformation of each other. And if you want to know more about this mindset, feel free to invite more mindfulness and self-awareness into your life with my ebook. For this, I collaborated with my art therapist sister, Yu, who also has her own art therapy and healing channel. thirsty for art. I know that some of you already watched her video, so I'm very grateful for that. And she recently did a video on mindfulness and body scan art therapy, so feel free to watch this and visit the link in the descriptions for my Mindful Life workbook. Sometimes it's hard to be objective and to have a clear understanding of the situation when we have been the subject of verbal abuse. And this can be coming from our loved ones, which makes it more difficult to endure and identify because they are so close to us. It's easy to identify criticism when it's so in our face and straightforward. And it can sound like, oh, I hate minimalism and minimalists are all stupid. Or it can also be sustainability is stupid or wrong because Earth doesn't need any saving and Earth is going to be destroyed anyways. But there are also more complex forms of criticism like manipulation, which projects unmet expectations and needs in a passive-aggressive way. And the most common thing that I have heard in my own journey are manipulative words that are intended to shame and guilt trap me so that I can do what that person, the attacker, wants me to do. For example, if I were the attacker, I would be saying something like this. So I thought that you were the most perfect human being, but you ended up being an utter disappointment. And it's all your fault that I'm angry and sad because you didn't follow my expectations and you were not the ideal version of human being that you should be. And this statement can also be followed with some sort of justification and defense. And that could sound like, I'm saying this for your own good because you need to learn a lesson. And I'm saying this because you're wrong and I'm right. And it can also be a justification like, this is not a criticism or a judgment. I'm just telling you my own reactions and feelings. So they are saying that their happiness is dependent on the conditions of physical reality, which includes what others are doing, what others are saying, and what's happening in their external reality. So what is ultimately being said by the attacker is, I don't love you because I can't control you. And you deserve to be shamed and guilt-trapped because you didn't meet my expectations to the fullest. For me, I have been on both sides as the person receiving these words and also as the person who attacks other people because I said terrible things in the past as well. And it's really not a good feeling to feel attacked or to perceive something as an attack, to be more accurate. Because of these feelings, it's easy to draw the line between who's the evil one and who is the good and innocent one. And I think that we can all relate to the ego's assumption that we are always the pure ones and never the bad ones in every single scenario. But I feel that true compassion and unconditional love is being able to forgive even the most unacceptable things in other beings, which means that it ultimately doesn't matter who is bad and who is good, because all are acceptable and necessary within the big picture. That, I think, is the true path towards overcoming the fear and hate we have against criticism and against the opposing forces. It is really not the person that we perceive as the attacker who needs to be cured of their wrongful belief, their wrong mindset, their anger, their frustration. It's more so that we have to focus on our own well-being and we have to take conscious control over our own happiness and emotional health and well-being. We can adopt a more positive mindset by following the steps of letting go of guilt and shame, of embracing ourselves and telling ourselves that we deserve love and compassion, And lastly, we also can embrace our authentic self by inviting both the positivity and negativity into our lives without resistance. There are different ways to deal with negative people, which includes walking away from negativity and letting go of toxic people. Also being open to learning from books, from community meetups, from courses and coaches about self-help. The third is on focusing on what we can do in the present moment to align with peace, which is a form of mindfulness. And lastly, working on self-love and connecting with a higher self. The best thing that we can do for ourselves and for the people surrounding us, including the attackers, is to stay true to ourselves no matter what, stay authentic no matter what, because I feel that we hold the key to success. We ultimately hold the key to happiness, and when we can be happy, nourished, and positive, we can spread the same energy and vibration to our surrounding people, and we can lessen the burden and suffering of others by focusing on our inner power, on our inner happiness, and on our inner self more than anything. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, please like and subscribe to my channel. And thanks again for being here, my friends, and I hope to see you again soon.